You are now listening to Cryptid Cocktail Party. Creatures, let's meet for a drink. It's a treat. Join us in the fight. Cryptid Cocktail Party. Cryptid Cocktail Party.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host Dave, joined as always by my wonderful co-host Sarge. How's it going, Sarge?
Oh man, I'm fucking fired up, buddy.
You sound
It's
fired
been
up.
one hell of a week.
Yeah?
Yeah. We bombed Iran, which is not great. However, they called it Operation Midnight Hammer, which incidentally is the name of my erotic novel. Found a loophole, Dave. I found a loophole.
I'm not gonna lie, the name of my erotic novel is way better than the name of my sex tape. Like, I think that is because that is so much funnier. Like, even if you just said erotic fan fiction, that's just as good. That's
But
so
no,
good.
I mean, we had the 2 weekends of Pride bookending my week of shit. So I did the Boston Pride March last week with my company, and this week, a buddy from Narragansett met up with me. I was down at the brewery, and then we went to Pride in matching Bigfoot outfits, and Bigfoot was all rainbow colored.
Oh.
And neither one of us thought for a second that anyone would consider us a gay couple.
That was my first thought
But
when I
they
saw
did.
the picture. That was,
Yeah.
I even
No,
showed it
that's
to-
fair.
I
That's
even
fair.
showed it to my wife, and I was like, "Ooh, these two look like two bears that are madly in love." There's no way around
Right.
it.
There was one very tall man in cowboy boots, tiny shorts, and a cowboy hat, and he said, "Oh, you're matching. You two have been together a long time."
I cannot wait to put. I'm posting that photo, by the way. I hope you don't mind. That's
Hey,
that's
I'm
going
fine
on.
with it. Love is love, you guys.
Oh.
Cam is a beautiful man. I would be honored. But to those of you who are listening to the show right now who were at Pride, thank you for having such an amazing event. Pride in Providence. I hate to say it because I'm from Boston, but Pride in Providence is so much more fun.
Oh, I can imagine.
Way more people. The parade is a little bit shorter, which is actually, I think, a good thing because the Pride parade in Boston had 250 floats in it.
Oh my god. I mean, that's
Well,
pretty good.
250 like groups. And so I was at the starting line and we waited 2 hours before we even started moving because the floats took so long to actually get to the finish line.
I would get bored so fast.
Oh yeah. I was like reading the news.
Yeah. Like
My daughter's yelling at me because she just wants to start marching, you know? Anyway, it was a really good time though. Providence is amazing. It's a beautiful city. I think should deserve the name gayest city in America. Just for how fucking cool their pride is. It's amazing. Anyway, so I'm super pumped up about that. Gave out tons of Cryptid Cocktail Party stickers. I was very excited to have those. Dave, you're going to get a whole bunch of them soon.
Hell yeah.
And they were so popular. We're actually going to make more. And on some of them, we're actually going to put the podcast on it, the podcast name, so that people know where to look.
I thought about that when Cam asked me for the artwork, and I was like, should I put like a Spotify, an Apple link, like something, or like figure out a way to put like a QR code on the back or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But well.
But I was at work, and I was like, I'm not gonna figure that out.
And when I say that's what I was thinking too, I don't mean that I was thinking that beforehand. It was while we were handing them out. I'm like, oh yeah, there's no reason for anyone to follow the podcast based on this. But we met some cool skateboarder kids and they loved them. So overall, amazing night, good times. And to the lady that wished me a happy gay pride, you don't have to say the gay part. We all know. We got out of the Uber in our matching outfits with rainbow headbands. And this obvious straight woman in a cowboy hat looked at the both of us and said, "Happy Gay Pride." And I was like, "Gay Pride?"
It's good to be specific.
Okay, yeah. Because it would have been alarming if I got out and she said Happy White Pride.
Yeah, so it's good.
I'd be uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because just saying pride, even though we all know what it is pretty ambiguous.
Yeah, it could be problematic depending on who's saying it.
Could
Yeah,
be
that's
anything.
fair.
Now, the fact that she was wearing a rainbow cowboy hat kind of probably would have given
Yeah,
if you just said,
right?
But at the same time, who knows? In today's climate,
I want to know. So there was a guy standing in front of us at the parade wearing a Thin Blue Line t-shirt.
okay.
And in the blue line, it said "We the People." And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck are you doing here? How are you still alive?
Cops can be gay.
I mean, I don't think a gay cop is going to wear a Thin Blue Line shirt. I'm pretty confident that this gentleman just was wildly unaware of what he was doing. Like he was probably like on vacation. He's hanging out in Providence and he's like, "Oh, all these really snazzy dresses are watching these people dance by. I wonder what's going on."
I mean, I don't know. That is a bold fashion choice.
Yeah, at a pride parade in 2025.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. Sorry to take up so much time talking about it. It was just such an amazing night, and I wanted to thank all the people who followed us and jumped on to be a part of our podcast. Hopefully, we don't offend you. I don't think we will.
We might.
Possibly.
Not
but
this
not
episode,
on purpose.
anyways. Future episodes. There's a good chance. Or 2 episodes back, if you're listening.
When we talk about the sailors.
So it's really where you start listening that could be problematic for some of you.
You'll know why I'm not allowed to say name of my sex tape anymore, at least.
Yeah, but dude, fucking the name of my erotic novel is so good.
I'm gonna use it sparingly, but it's my loophole.
Oh yeah, because I think that's the name of my erotic novel and or erotic fan fiction. That's one of those ones where you have to use it at the right time. I feel like
yeah, you have to. It has to be perfect.
Yeah, or else it just loses that fucking punch. All right, sorry. So,
Operation Midnight Hammer.
Are you ready to dive into today's episode? Because I
am so ready.
This is a nightmare. I kind of got ahead of myself while writing it, and I buried the lead till the very end. So
you got over your skis, as they say.
I don't know what that means. I don't think that's a real saying.
It's apparently it means that you bit off more than you could chew, and other analogies is in euphemisms as well.
Okay, is it like a Gen Alpha thing?
No, weirdly enough, it's an old people thing. You hear it on the news all the time. Donald Trump is over his skis on this.
Oh, like skis, like SKI.
Yeah, like when you're skiing down a hill.
Oh, never mind. I thought it was ski. I thought it was like SKEEZ, like a fucking like some sort of new song.
Oh, skis. I mean, I think it's an appropriate way to refer to Donald Trump because he is always leaning forward like he just went off a ski jump.
That's actually pretty good. All right.
Right?
Yeah. We're 8 minutes in. Let's start rolling.
Okay. All right.
So today, Sarge, we're going to be heading to Glasgow. I should probably figure it. People get weird about pronunciations. Is it Glasgow, Scotland?
I think it's Glasgow.
All right. So today we're going to be heading to Glasgow, Scotland. And if anyone has a problem with the way I'm pronouncing it, please write me a strongly worded email at cryptidcocktail@gmail.com. Now, besides Highlander, Groundskeeper Willie, and whiskey, what do you know about Scotland, or I guess Glasgow in general?
I know about Scotland that they love fried food.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't? Scotch eggs are delicious.
Yeah, I mean, everything Scottish is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that the movie Braveheart was wildly inaccurate. I know that bagpipes didn't originate there, but they definitely claimed them. So that's good.
Even if they didn't originate there, they definitely perfected it.
They did. And honestly, if you play bagpipes at a funeral, even if I hate you, I'm going to cry. Yeah. So
it's true.
Amazing Grace on bagpipes, I'm done. It's game over for me. Just, overall, very funny people. The movie Trainspotting's fucking phenomenal.
Trainspotting's so good.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the author, but he's written a couple of books that I've read, and I really liked them all.
Okay. So that's all you know?
Yeah. I mean, north of England, freedom,
All right. Well, today
blue face paint, something like that.
Well, today we're going to be heading back in time to Glasgow in the 70s. So, and to paint a picture of what the city was like during this time, well, back then it was pretty rough. It was soaked in booze and full of people who either wanted to fight you or drink with you. More often than not, it was usually both. Now, the city back then was split up in like by class, religion, and old grudges nobody ever really let go of. Some neighborhoods had beautiful old homes, while others were all crumbling flats and boarded up buildings. And it's those kinds of places where stories tend to originate and fester. And one of those stories, and the topic of today's episode, is about a man, or maybe something pretending to be a man, bald, skeletal, twitching, and grinning like his face is being peeled off in slow motion. He would show up in the dead of night, sometimes under a street lamp, and other times at the foot of your bed, contorted, leering, and then poof, just gone. So today, Sarge, we are going to be covering the deeply unsettling legend of the Gurning Man of Glasgow. Are you familiar with this at all?
No, but it sounds like a horror movie I want to watch really bad that's going to get screwed up by the guy who did the Conjuring franchise.
Well, first of all, the reason why the Conjuring franchise got screwed up is because the titular characters were in real life frauds and terrible people. That's where my problem with
the worst kind of people. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
lucky for us, Zach Baggins came along and fixed that problem right away.
Oh, too bad Annabelle's missing. Did they ever find Annabelle? You heard that Annabelle the doll went missing, right?
No, I didn't know it went missing. How do you fucking lose a haunted doll?
Because it's fucking haunted, man. That's just.
Let me see if I got this straight. This is a fucking doll. When you try to throw it in the trash, it shows up back in your house. Yet somehow they lost it?
Well, they brought it on tour.
Morons. These people are morons.
Yeah, they brought it on tour, and then I can't remember where it was. Thankfully, it wasn't Philly. Philly has a affinity for just ruining things that are on tour. But yeah, it's just gone. I think they found it. I never followed up with it because in my mind, it's way funnier to believe that it's just out there causing fucking chaos. Just a Raggedy Ann doll
just sitting in a Walmart behind a stack of paper towels.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of it as like to think it's on Bourbon Street in fucking New Orleans, just getting fucking white girl wasted,
shit faced.
Yeah, dude, it's been in a fucking.
I'll curse you. I'll curse you right now. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of
you. All right, so back to the Gurning Man. For anyone knows what it's called, the Gurning Man. I had to figure out what gurning means because I thought maybe they just misspelt grinning at first, but apparently to gurn is to make like a really contorted, gross face. So it's the Gurning Man, which makes the name way worse.
It's also kind of like a good way to describe the face you make when you orgasm.
Sarge?
It's like a better one than vinegar strokes.
Yeah, you're gonna hold on to that thought.
Oh no!
So the first known encounter with the Gurning Man, or at least the first one ever really talked about, happened in the spring of 1976 in the Cross Hill neighborhood of Glasgow's South Side. It was like around midnight. Two teenage girls were walking home from a party when they spotted something up ahead underneath the street lamp. Now, at first, they thought it was just a guy standing there. He seemed a little twitchy, a little weird. But I feel like that's kind of expected for a Scotsman standing under a street lamp at midnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did see Train Spotting, so I agree with you.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't until they got a bit closer that some of the details about this man started becoming clear. And none of them were good. He was completely bald and thin as hell, like unnervingly thin. Like, it's not great. It looked like his bones were trying to escape from his skin. Like, that's how skinny he was.
Ew.
He was wearing what one of them described as a black leotard, which all right, hold on. So this description, it only gets worse from here, but just up to this point, I feel like this is probably the last thing that I would want to see if I was like a drunk teenage girl walking home at night.
I feel terrifying. Like I kind of saw a guy who looked like this last night at Pride. A lot of leotards down there.
Yeah, but I feel like at night, midnight, you're a teenage girl with your friend walking home. This is not a great sight to see.
Dude, I'm a fucking grown-ass man, and I would run in the other direction.
Yeah. Now, the worst part is that he wasn't just standing there. He was moving all weird. He was fidgeting, twitching.
Like herky jerky.
Not really. It was like, almost like dancing, but like a twitchy, like I gotta pee real bad kind of. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and accompanied with the movements were the sounds that he was making. It was described as a mix between grunting, snorting, and choking, kind of like a pug, but like if a pug was a sex pest, kind of.
Oh, so he's masturbating. He was masturbating.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That now the twitching makes a lot of sense.
But what really stuck out to these poor girls was his face. They said it was twisted into this just like horrible pain smile, and not like a happy smile or even like an injured cold kind of smile. It was more like he was trying to smile through a stroke. Like
Yeah, like a Melania Trump smile.
just too big, too wide, not great.
human.
Yeah. Now, one of the girls, either the braver or the drunker of the two, called out to him and asked if he was all right. He didn't say anything. He didn't even blink. He just screamed this high-pitched animal shriek. He screamed this high-pitched animal shriek and then started lunging towards them. So they ran fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out, dude.
And then one of them looked back, probably to figure out how much time they still had left on this mortal coil, but he was gone, just not there anymore. And there weren't any alleys. There wasn't any open doors to pop into, nothing to hide behind. He was just gone. Now,
Yikes.
just a few nights later, literally down the street from where these girls had their encounter, a middle-aged woman in Cross Hill had her own run-in with the Gurning Man, and this one is undoubtedly worse. It was early in the morning, around 3, 4 a.m., which is arguably the worst time of night. Like, nothing good ever happens in that time frame, I feel like. Like,
Agreed.
Yeah. So she woke up to a weird sound. It wasn't like a loud sound. It was more just like wrong. Like like at first she thought it was just like her husband snoring, but very quickly realized that the snorting was the same nightmare mouth sounds that the two girls heard.
Oh.
It wasn't coming from next to her. It was coming from the foot of her fucking bed. So.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no. I hate it.
So instead of doing what I would do in this scenario, which is pull the covers over my head and pretend like nothing is wrong, she looked down, and there he was, a bald, grinning man just standing there, his face all twisted up in that same pain smile. And to add even more horror into the mix, he was rubbing his chest in a slow, obsessive way, just running his hands across himself like he was trying to either soothe himself or kind of like he was getting off on the terror he was inflicting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the good news is at least he wasn't buffing the musket. You know what I mean?
True. I guess that would make it worse. But also, would it though? I feel like if you're making those sounds, like, at least I get it. This is just like...
Just standing at the foot of the bed. He's like, we've been trying to reach you about your warranty.
Yeah, it's given like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like Buffalo Bill, but like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Now,
I'd fuck me.
Goodbye, horses.
Dude, I listen to that song fairly regularly. I love that fucking song.
Oh.
And it's not just because it's a great song, but also because it makes me laugh when I think about the implications of listening to that song in my car with the windows down on a random street in my neighborhood.
That's pretty good.
Like I'm at a stoplight and Goodbye Horses is on. I have no problem rolling down the window.
All right, so you got this fucking gangly dude stroking his chest, probably pinching his nipples or whatever, standing at the foot of her bed. Yeah. Now, she froze, couldn't move, couldn't scream. That is until he locked eyes with her. That's when she lost it and finally just like let loose. Now, her husband jolted awake like his dick was on fire. He flipped on the bedroom light, ready to fucking throw hands, but the Gurning Man was already gone. And not gone as in like he ran out the door, gone like he was never there. There was no open windows, no unlocked doors, no scuffed floors or muddy footprints in the house. He was just gone. Now, after her encounter, like, that was it for her. She was like, I'm done. And according to the story, the family moved out the house not long after. They packed up and got out of Cross Hill altogether. And I mean, yeah, I get it. I'd probably do the same thing.
You got to think, like, something has to be really fucking terrifying to move out. Because, like, when we think about like horror stories and people living in haunted houses, and you're like, why don't you just move out? But like, here's the deal: like, that's fucking expensive to buy a new house, and you got to pick up all your shit. How do you do that?
And also, if you don't want to be there, you have to like get a hotel room and get or get an apartment while at the same time probably still paying off the house that's haunted.
Exactly.
While trying to buy a new house.
Yeah, it's not like moving your apartment. Like when you live in a house, you have like decades worth of shit at some point.
Yeah, and I feel like in the 1970s in Glasgow or even in America, like you weren't renting houses. Like that wasn't this. I feel like that you might be able to, but I feel like
you might have been like it was a council or something, a council estate, and like the government was helping you or whatever. But
yeah, but back then I feel like you either owned the house or you rented a flat. Like you weren't. There was it was one or the other. So this person probably owned this house, and they're like, I saw a fucking. I saw Christian Bale in The Machinist standing at the foot of my bed, slowly rubbing his chest.
I saw Stephen Miller daydreaming about catching illegals at the foot of my bed.
Oh, Stephen Miller, he's getting cucked by Elon Musk, and I think that's the funniest fucking thing.
Imagine being cucked by Elon Musk. I'm sorry to like sidetrack, but just imagine how awful you have to be that Elon Musk is more attractive than you are.
I think about it all the time. That's what gets me off.
Oh, gross.
So the third major sighting happened sometime in the late 70s. I think it was like 79 or something like that. And it came from an elderly woman just going about her nightly routine of putting out her milk bottles for the morning delivery. This is back when that was still a thing, apparently. Now, just a simple, harmless task, but on this night, unfortunately, no, not really. So as she was putting out her bottles, she noticed something out of place. She heard like a clinking sound, like the sound of someone kicking glass. And when she looked up, she saw him, the same tall, bald, twitchy nightmare right there in the middle of the fucking road. So the worst part is that he wasn't just standing there, is he was jogging in place, but it seemed almost involuntary, more like spasming. It was like a jerky, it was jerky, frantic, and uncomfortable to watch, she said. He was wearing the same tight black outfit. His face was twisted up in what she said looked like rage or pain or maybe both. And when they locked eyes, just for a second, that's when he started to move towards her. Now, not a walk, not a run, but a lunge. She let out a terrible scream, and just like that, poof, he was gone. Just blinked out of existence, and reality spat him back into whatever void he came from. And now it's just her, standing there on her step, clutching her milk bottles, trying to process what the fuck just happened. So from 1976 to 1979, there were at least 17 reported sightings of the Gurning Man, and those are just the ones that were reported. 11 of those sightings were outdoors, on the streets of Crosshill and the surrounding neighborhoods. The other 6 were indoors, inside people's fucking houses.
Ugh.
Not great.
This dude really gets around.
Yeah. Now, every report followed pretty much the same basic formula. A spindly bald man in tight, dark clothing, usually described like a leotard or something you'd expect like a haunted mime to wear. His face was always contorted into the same inhuman grin, and he always moved like he was glitching. He would snort, grunt, twitch, sometimes kick objects or rub himself like he was getting off on the fear.
So fucking weird.
Yeah. And he only showed up like at night between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. like almost like he was like a demon working third shift. Like it wasn't like,
yeah, right.
It's not the best shift, but like, hey, you got to make money somehow. And this,
he just got out of his job as the security guard for Sainsbury. I know British stuff,
but the part that that bothered people the most, well, not the most, but I guess it was frustrating, I guess, is that he always disappeared. Like you can't catch the guy if he's popping in and out of existence.
Yeah.
Like the second someone screamed or turned on the light, he was just gone. Where are you at? How you feeling?
I fucking hate this. I mean, the thing is, like, this is terrifying, like objectively terrifying, except for the fact that I keep reminding myself he was wearing a leotard.
Yeah.
Which is the least horrifying outfit I can think of.
So they described it as a leotard. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's no fucking photos of this thing. So I don't know, like, if that's really what it was. But I guess, I mean, I feel like if it's 1970 something, you know how to describe clothes at that point. Like, it's not like this was the 1800s and they're trying to describe something from the future. Like they had leotards in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny. That's actually deeply funny. He's
Like, I'm scared of him, but at the same time, I'm like, why are you wearing that? You could just wear like a button down shirt and it would still be scary. Like, what are you doing, buddy?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're doing calisthenics in the middle of the road, just fucking running in
that's
place.
true.
Like you need the
He's just a really motivated jogger.
Yeah. You just need that range of motion to be able to, fucking herky jerk lunge
The
at
thing
people.
is, every time he lunges at someone, that's not out of malice. It's just when the pre-workout kicked in.
True, but also now that I think about it, he's wearing a leotard. Maybe his lunge is like when you do lunges at the gym where you just take a big step.
I know I'm dating myself here, but I keep thinking of when Mike Myers did Sprockets when he was Dieter. Like, it would be great if the Gurning Man had a very effeminate German accent.
Oh man.
Hello, I am the Gurning Man. Would you like to dance?
So one thing I didn't mention is that all of these were reported allegedly to the police. Now, the police, useless as always,
naturally,
tossed out a theory that the indoor encounters might have just been interrupted burglaries. But what kind of burglar just stands at the foot of your bed grinning and rubbing his chest instead of, robbing the place? He's
again, while wearing a unitard and not holding a bag.
Yeah, there's also the fact that nobody ever reported missing items. There was no forced entry, no broken locks. Unless the dude had like a David Blaine level escape plan, like how was he getting out so fast?
Like that's the thing, is he just fucking disappears. Like when everyone who comes to you says the guy just dematerialized right in front of my eyes. Like, old men who are that skinny don't really have the muscle mass to fucking jump out a window.
Yeah.
Clearly this is something more horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, but also like that only maybe explains the 6 indoor encounters, not the 11 other outside ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also then there's also the one really uncomfortable detail about all this, and that's that every single witness was a woman, most of them alone. Some, like we mentioned, were teenagers, some were elderly, almost as if the Gurning Man didn't just appear at random, but targeted his victims. Like he was a prowler.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. By the time that 1980s rolled in, the sightings just like stopped. There was...
Well, yeah, because by the 80s, everyone was wearing black leotards and listening to Joy Division.
There was no arrest, no answers, just a creepy little hole in Glasgow's heart where a monster used to be. There were no new reports, no fresh encounters. People either moved on or convinced themselves that it never really happened to begin with.
Yeah.
Years passed, then decades. The Gurning Man became one of those local weird tales, like half forgotten, half laughed at, until eventually it just stopped getting told at all. So you would think that after decades of silence, the legend would have died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
of course.
In the early 2000s, rumors started bubbling back up again. A few folks were whispering about seeing a strange, twitchy man lurking around Queen's Park. Thin, bald, dressed in black. But those early reports are hazy. There was no names, no details, but just enough to get people talking again. And then, in 2017, which is too recent for me, two actual encounters were reported. The first came from a young woman walking through Queen's Park around 9 or 10 p.m. She was passing by some parked cars when she noticed someone wedged between a van and a car. He was just...
A jogger who just got stuck in a traffic collision.
He's just fucking pinned. It's like in signs for like the lower half of the body. Like if we move the cars, they're just dead.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. So yeah, he's wedged between a van and a car. He was disturbingly thin, bald, and dressed in tight, dark clothing with a neckline so low it was, and I quote, almost revealing his nipples.
Oh, man. I love that he's wearing a V-neck that is so deep it's writing its own poetry. Amazing.
And the moment they locked eyes...
Love a deep V.
Oh, who doesn't love a deep V, dude? And the moment they locked eyes, he went into full freak mode, I guess. I don't know how... He started groaning and snorting and rubbing his chest. His face twisted into the same contorted pain grimace. He's just hitting all the classics at this point. Now, she backed away and then took off running, but when she looked back to make sure he wasn't like gaining on her, again, he was just gone. Now, later that same year, a group of teenagers were hanging out in Queen's Park at night when one of them noticed something moving in the bushes. Never a good sign. So another girl shined her phone flashlight into the dark, and there he was, a bald, skeletal man crouching among the branches, watching them. And then the second the light hit him, he did all the signature moves. We've been through it enough. You know what they are. So
trademark dance.
Yeah. So they screamed, then they ran, and then one of them tried to snap a photo, like either as a memento or evidence. It's unclear. But when she turned around, he'd already vanished. So you got 2 sightings in the same area, same behavior, same leotard. The only difference now is that he was described as old. I didn't mention this, but the first Queen's Park witness guessed that he was anywhere between 70 and 90 years old. It's as if the Gurning Man it's as if he kept existing all this time, just out of view, if that makes sense.
Imagine if he was just like some interdimensional traveler and he kept getting stuck here, and all like the whole reason he was doing all this is he just really needed to pee, but like he can't find a place to do it.
Or maybe you can't pee in another dimension. Maybe there's something about it.
Yeah, he's just got to hold it. He's been holding it for fucking 50 years.
Well, I guess this is a good point as any to start. This is a good jumping off point into our first theory of what this thing fucking is.
Yeah.
And now that we know that he got old, maybe the Gurning Man was just a dude. How do you feel about that?
Okay. I mean, I don't know what Rudy Giuliani's up to, but it sounds like you're describing him.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Creepy, horrifying.
Yeah.
You know what though? Rudy's kind of a pudge. He's a bit of a pudger though.
Well, now when he was 9/11's mayor.
Oh yeah, no, he was skeletal. He was terrifying to look at. Like Nosferatu. I don't know. I don't think it's a man. I mean, it can't be a man. The guy just disappears out of nowhere.
Well, you know what? I haven't even give you the reasons why he might just be a dude. Maybe I'll change your mind. Do you want your mind blown or changed?
Okay.
Right now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So yeah. So what if he could have been just a man, a very disturbed, possibly sick, definitely very horny for fear type dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every witness described him as
big into nipple play, just squeezing the raisins.
Every witness described him as looking real. Like he wasn't see-through. He didn't float. He wasn't like flickering or glowing like a ghost, but he seemed like flesh and blood. But so, maybe he was just mentally ill or on drugs or both. Now, there are also some neurological conditions like dystonia or epilepsy that can cause uncontrollable facial contortions, like spasms, even odd vocalizations.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe he wasn't even trying to scare people. Maybe his muscles were just betraying him, I guess.
Oh God, that's horrible. It's actually worse because he's not trying to do it.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, though, the chest rubbing, the bedroom staring, and the nighttime stalking, that feels intentional. So even if he was a guy...
I mean, those are my go-tos. I have never had a complaint.
So even like if he was just a guy in pain, he was still doing some deeply predatory, creepy-ass shit. And the fact that all the witnesses were women, usually alone, makes it hard not to see this as some kind of like targeted behavior. So still, even if it was just some menace or a mentally ill person or whatever, that doesn't really explain the like I blinked and he was gone shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't help.
Like, but maybe like the fear and adrenaline you feel in the moment messes with your memory, or like maybe people didn't see him run because they were too busy shitting themselves. Like maybe,
yeah, but
like a suspicious maybe. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if the real life human theory isn't for you, let's go the opposite direction and get weird with it. A lot of people lean toward the supernatural on this one. The vanishing act is a classic ghost move. The fact that he showed up in people's bedrooms with no sign of forced entry, also very ghostly. And his ability to scare the fucking piss out of you, like without saying a word, that's pretty textbook paranormal type stuff.
Yeah.
Some folks have also compared him to like shadow people, like, those dark human-shaped blobs when you have sleep paralysis, like Hat-Man type shit.
Well, yeah, like he does kind of sound like a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, he checks some of the boxes, like, for sure, like, but only in the cases where he's seen inside. I feel like if you're outside, that doesn't make any sense. Like, he shows up at night, paralyzes you with fear, and then disappears when the lights come on. But the Gurning Man wasn't a shadow. He had details like clothing, features, sounds, behaviors. Like that makes him feel more real, like more physical in a sense. Almost like he's half in our world and half somewhere else, Sarge.
Oh.
Which brings us to the theory that he's some kind of interdimensional traveler.
Ah, like Bigfoot, but shaved and skinny and wearing a unitard.
But it's like whatever keeps
That sounds
us...
offensive. I'm not going to say that one anymore. Leotard is how I'll say it.
But yeah, it's like whatever barrier keeps us from seeing into the next reality just got like thin as hell in Glasgow during the 70s and then briefly in the 2000s. And through that rip came this twitchy bastard who couldn't quite get the hang of existing in our timeline. Like that could explain the weird body movements, the distorted face, and the way he was able to just vanish on a moment's notice. And then finally, our last theory, maybe none of this shit ever actually happens. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There are 0 news reports from the time, no police blotter, no archived headlines. Nobody who lived in Glasgow back then seems to remember hearing about this, which is pretty weird, right? You would think like leotard man with horrifying smile terrorizes women would have made the papers, but no, it's almost like Gurning Man just showed up on the internet one day. And yeah.
God damn it, you son of a bitch. If this is a fucking Reddit story, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
The first detailed version of the story popped up online around 2012, which means more than likely it's a case of retroactive folklore, someone making up a spooky local legend that felt like it belonged in that era. It's much like when we did the Not Deer. Like the Not Deer,
yeah,
it's kind of like that. But then people started believing it and maybe even seeing it. This is where the tulpa theory comes in. It's the idea that if enough people believe in something hard enough and long enough, it becomes real. Think like Slender Man or the Rake. Like we know they were made up, and yet people swear up and down that they have seen them. If reality is just a shared hallucination, maybe the Gurning Man is real enough now to step out of the shadows. And maybe the reason, there were those 2 sightings in 2017 is because we invited him. So, how you feeling about these theories?
This makes a lot of sense, actually, now that you mention it. I see Slender Man semi-regularly, actually. He's
You're gonna
smokes
say something
Marlboros,
stupid, aren't you?
hangs out by a garage, a lot of birdseed. Anyway,
You just described my dad.
I love the tulpa theory. I think it's a weird nexus of things. You know what I mean? Like the tulpa theory is kind of right up there with what is that weird thing that happens when people all seem to remember something and it turns out not to be real?
The Mandela effect?
Yeah. I feel like the tulpa and the Mandela effect are kind of like a hand-in-hand thing.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at it, so not that this is like a deliberate example, but like Sinbad, everybody thought that Sinbad was in a movie where he was a genie.
Yeah.
And then he actually did a commercial where he was a genie just to mess with people. And it like those two like things in my brain kind of go so well together that it even if it's not real, even if there's nothing to that, it's such a fascinating like little journey to go on in your imagination. Like just how fucking cool an idea that is.
What's weird is that I don't remember. The only genie movie I remember is Kazam with Shaq.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
It's one of those things because the one that the people think Sinbad was in, they called it was Shazam. I don't remember that at all.
Right. Yeah. And the thing that's funny is I remember Shazam and the Shaq movie.
Yeah. See, that's what it's weird that things like that only affect certain people. It's like it's like the Fruit of the Loom thing where like I remember a cornucopia.
Me too.
Apparently there was never a cornucopia.
I know. It's so fucking weird.
We need to do an episode of the Mandela effect. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
We should.
I think
we should.
Yeah.
I love the tulpa theory, and I think there's some truth to it, because if something's real to you, whether it's real or not is immaterial. It's your perception. And, we all live in a hologram, so your perception is reality a lot of the time.
That's very
Which
true.
is why I'm the most handsome guy in the world.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
No, you're spitting facts right now, Sarge. So
you flatter me, sir.
So was the Gurning Man just a creepy dude in a bodysuit, a lost spirit, stuck between dimensions, or an internet or an internet age tulpa that we accidentally willed into existence.
Tulpa.
Yeah, more than
I'm Team
likely,
Tulpa.
more than likely it's the last one. But in the end, the legend of the Gurning Man of Glasgow is less about answers and more about what sticks with you. Like that image of a bald skeletal man grinning through pain, rubbing his chest and stalking the streets at night. It hits on something primal. Like he's not a monster. He's not even a cryptid. He's a fucking intrusion. Like real or not, this is the kind of story that latches onto your brain like black mold, and it's really hard to get rid of. The Gurning Man embodies a very specific fear of being watched, of being alone, of something just fucking wrong lurking at the edge of your world, and whether he was ever real doesn't really matter anymore. So there you have it, Sarge. That is the story of the Gurning Man of Glasgow. We did it.
That was an amazing one. I loved it.
All right, it was really good. I had a lot of fun writing that.
Yeah. There's nothing like funnier to me than like the idea of like a haunted sex pest. Like not only is it creepy and fucking terrifying, but it's also a pervert.
Yeah, it's but also like that's like I feel like a paranormal sex pest is the worst. Like that's way worse.
Yeah, it's
like,
so gross.
Yeah, because you can't do anything. Because you can't do anything about it. Like it's just like were they gonna catch them? Were they gonna call the Ghostbusters? The Ghostbusters aren't real. This thing might also not be real. But at the same, you know what I mean? Like it's all bad.
I'm just thinking like he shows up. He's like, oh, it's so good to see you. Ugh. He's like twitching. He's like, oh, he's getting all riled up to fucking sex pest his way through your life. Fuck that. I don't want to be a part of your weird fucking fantasy, a creepy ghost.
It's like a demon version of the the BP guy from South Park, where it's like, I'm sorry, just like rubbing his nipples. It's like that, but like a sex pest demon interdimensional ghost. All of it's bad.
There's a show called Doom Patrol that I really like. It just finished up. It's on HBO. Brendan Fraser's in it. And it's about like a bunch of weird superheroes, and I fucking love this show. But there's like a running gag throughout the show. Like I think it started in season 2, where these like ghosts just show up in somebody's house and they're just fucking everywhere. And so like they'll just be like sitting on the couch, and then they'll hear groaning. They'll look up in the ceiling, and there's 2 ghosts just banging on the ceiling.
That's pretty good.
Oh, Gurning Man, you're gonna be my new favorite cryptid.
More like Gooning Man, am I right? Hey.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm actually gonna go into ChatGPT and try to recreate Gurning Man. I just want to see what their interpretation of him would look like.
That sounds like a nightmare. All right. Okay. All right, Sarge. With that out of the way, you got anything you want to plug before we do our other plugs?
Yeah. Follow us on the internet. I don't really have anything. I want to thank Cam, Amanda, and Elvira for all the help last night and handing out the stickers. A lot of cool ideas we kind of threw back and forth. Hopefully some cool shit for the future. Drink Narragansett, or we'll be sad about it. And that's all I got.
All right. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram at Cryptid Cocktail. Follow us on TikTok, Cryptid Cocktail Party. If you want to follow Sarge, there's a link in our Instagram. You can find all of his socials on there. He's starting to do TikTok again. Sarge, you're doing TikTok again. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm getting back into it.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
You can subscribe to our Patreon. That'd be awesome. Give us some funds for some things. I think that's all. Leave us a rating and review, please. It really helps.
Yeah, please.
It really, really helps get the word out there. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell your dad, whoever.
Even if you just want to shoot us a message on Instagram, we can just kind of post it. Post the message in your review of the show. Happy or sad, I don't care. You can say we're terrible. We'll still post it.
Yeah,
because we're masochists.
But also do it on an actual podcast app, because that's how people know if we're good or not.
Dude, I'm just going to post it on Instagram anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, but that doesn't help us with people. People won't see it.
All right. Fine.
Sarge has no
Rate
idea.
us on a real thing.
Yeah.
Instead of the thing I made up.
But you can send us nice messages or mean messages.
Yeah, I'll take that too.
Yeah, that's fine.
It keeps me going.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and if any
I
of
put
you
on
guys,
a deep V and started pinching my nips.
yeah, and if anyone has a problem with the way I was pronouncing Glasgow, whatever, call me out. I don't give a fuck.
Help us get better.
No, I'm still going to pronounce it how I pronounce it, which has changed dramatically
Glasgow.
throughout the beginning and the end of this episode. I pronounce it like 4 different ways.
It's just one of those names where you don't feel comfortable saying it.
Yeah, I hate it. It's all bad. And they should feel ashamed for naming it something hard to pronounce, even though that's wild to say, considering I used to live in New England, now I live in Pennsylvania, where everything is named awful that you can't pronounce if you're not from there.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess
go to Leicester. You'll love it.
I guess that out of the way. Sarge, do you want to say goodbye and I love you to the audience?
Goodbye. I love you. Happy Pride.
Cryptid Cocktail Party. Cryptid Cocktail Party.